There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. Please be seated. The secretary will read the order.
Yeah. Debate on vote number 22, Correctional Services Appropriation Bill.
The Honorable, the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services is invited to the podium.
Thank you very much, Honorable House Chairperson.
I think we've been disconnected from the chamber.
Honourable members, this is Tanya Lyons from the National Assembly table. We are contacting the chamber now. We've lost sound to them.
Thank you.
Please be patient. The problem is being sorted out. Honorable members on the platform, can you hear me?
Yes, House Chair, we're now connected back. Thank you.
Yes,
Yes, we can hear you, Chair.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, Chairperson, we can hear you
do
loud
hear
and
you.
clear, Chair.
Okay. No, we only wanted to make sure that you can follow all the processes and can hear us. Otherwise, we wouldn't continue without you. You are so dear to us. Honorable members, shall we continue? Honorable Minister, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Honorable House Chairperson. Members of the executive present, Deputy Minister of Correctional Services, Nkosi particularly Olomisa, the Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mr. John Jeffrey, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Justice and Correctional Services, Honorable Blelani Magwanisha, honorable members, the National Commissioner of Correctional Services, Mr. Mahoti Tobachale, the Inspecting Judge, Justice Edwin Cameron, House Chairperson, our resolve to reposition and transform the Department of Correctional Services is well attuned towards creating a safer South Africa. We are strengthening good governance, promoting accountability, transparency, and innovation. Despite the challenges experienced in recent times, we stand here ready to report progress in a number of key ongoing initiatives and projects and the introductions of new projects in the Department of Correctional Services, in line with the DCS implementation of Vision 2068, which is shaping corrections for the future. Working together with Deputy Minister Olomisa, we shall continue providing leadership to the department, harness the potential of our officials, and solicit the best ideas from our stakeholders and talented South Africans to make the Department of Correctional Services work better. As honorable members are well aware, the performance of the Department of Correctional Services under this administration has significantly improved over the medium-term strategic framework, in line with the call by the National Development Plan for DCS to deliver high-quality services in support of government priorities. The performance of the department has improved by 19% since 2020-2021. We've progressed from 70% in the 2020-2021 financial year, 80% in the 2021-2022 financial year, to 89% in the 2022-2023 financial year. This is significant improvement and progress that is visible and can be touched by honorable members and the people of South Africa. The improved performance is substantiated by unqualified audit opinions that the department registered in the past 2 financial years. We are not just thumb-sucking, this is reality. The 2022-2023 financial year saw a further reduction in the findings, giving a clear indication that DCS is much closer to obtaining a clean audit. We will ensure that these are attained during our term of office as governance structures and internal controls have been improving, which is progressive development for a capable state. We therefore, with confidence, stand before this August House to table the Department of Correctional Services Vote 22 budget, amounting to 26 billion rands and 2 million rands. This budget will enable us to continue transforming the department and contribute towards creating a safer South Africa. Honorable members, I want to focus on the human and secure incarceration of inmates, noting that the department has been in the news following the escape from lawful custody by the notorious inmate Thabo Bester. I want to assure this House and South Africans at large that we do not have porous correctional centers synonymous with escapes. In the last financial year, Out of an inmate population of 157,056, a total of 27 inmates escaped, which represent 0.017%. We do acknowledge that one escape from lawful custody is one too many, and we continue to work towards strengthening our security and adherence to standard operating procedures. We have also spoken at great length about our public-private partnership correctional centers, more in particular the Mangaung Correctional Center. As honorable members will recall, on the 2nd of May 2023, we announced our decision to terminate the concession contract with the Bloemfontein Correctional Contract. A termination notice for a period of 90 days was indeed served, and I'm able to inform this House that the takeover process is underway. This means that Mangaung Correctional Center, the MCC, will be part of the correctional service portfolio in about 2 months, while Kutama-Sintimule Correctional Center will be taken over in 2027 when the contract lapses. However, the takeover work streams affected both Mangaung and the Kutama-Sintimule in their planning process. This will ensure seamless transition, and some of the lessons learned with the MCC will be critical towards the operations with regards to Kutama-Sintimule. I want to inform all honorable members and fellow South Africans that indeed correctional activities to rehabilitate inmates are continuing across the 243 correctional centers in our country. These activities are geared towards enabling inmates to put their lives back on track upon their release and to contribute towards safer communities. We are continuing to implement our self-sufficiency and strategic framework. Through the self-sufficiency and strategic framework, we are addressing a myriad of barriers and challenges which often confront ex-offenders, such as lack of skills, unemployment, stigma, and failure to be reintegrated back into society. But more so, getting more ex-inmates and parolees to be active citizens within the economic sector and in the social life of communities. The self-sustainability framework enables inmates to gain skills which they can use to earn an honest living. These include farming skills, workshop skills such as bricklaying, carpentry, plumbing, tractor mechanic, sewing, hairdressing and beautification, and baking, amongst others. Over the last 3 financial years, through the current MTSF period, a total amount of 372 million rands has been saved through the self-sustainability framework of correctional services. We will continue to save more money as our officials and inmates are hard at work to improve the self-sufficiency performance in the current 2023-2024 financial year. This is in line with our quest of creating an entrepreneurial state. In the last financial year, the Department of Correctional Services was 100% self-sufficient in terms of eggs, meaning we produced enough eggs for our inmates' rotation and therefore did not procure any eggs across all the centers in the country. All management areas in Gauteng and the Eastern Cape are no longer buying cabbage. In the same period, we also produced the following foodstuffs for offender ration: 9.4 million kilograms of vegetables, 482,000 kilograms of fruits, 425,000 kilograms of red meat, 1 million kilograms of chicken meat, 1.7 million kilograms of pork, 5.9 million liters of milk, and 4.2 million loaves of bread at a cost of 688 rands per loaf. We are continuously exploring and implementing to increase our own production so that we do not just become self-sufficient as a department, but to also ensure that offenders who work in our farms, bakeries and workshops become self-employed upon their release and contribute towards fighting hunger and poverty in their communities. The National Skills Fund is also funding accredited skills training programs for offenders. In the last financial year, the achievement through our partnership with the National Skills Fund included the following accredited training interventions: training of 304 offenders in vegetable production, tractor driving training for 181 offenders through the Safety and Security Sector Education and Training SETA. Accredited computer repair course for 160 females and youth offenders. Completed assistant chef course by 104 inmates. In our previous budget vote, we promised to extend correctional programs to remand detainees for emotional health and well-being, problem solving, emotional intelligence, substance abuse, conflict resolution, domestic violence, and restorative relations. Deputy Minister Nkosi Patekile Holomisa launched the remand detainee training program at Polokwane Management Area. On the 30th of August 2022, we can report that 170 officials have been trained to facilitate these programs across the country, and all 6 regions are now orientated. The district development model also enabled the Department of Correctional Services to focus on the self-sustainability through the prioritization of production workshops, agricultural projects, as well as looking into the district-specific opportunities that promote offender rehabilitation and reintegration. Through the self-sustainability, offenders also contribute to various initiatives to empower destitute communities and victims of crime. Community development projects are springboard for sound relations with communities, thus promoting corrections as a societal responsibility. In KwaZulu-Natal, the department through offender labor built 3 houses, 2 in Msunduzi and 1 in eThekwini in the last financial year. An elderly woman living with disability at Mjoveni in Ward 1, Kwanongom, was raped during March 2023. She was alone that evening, and living in a dilapidated house made it much easier for the perpetrators to break down the door and proceed to violate her. The Department of Correctional Services raised its hands to assist Ugogo by means of building a proper house to ensure that she can live in a safe and a secure environment. In the Northern Cape, we are currently completing a house in Kuruman at John Taule Khalisiwe municipality for an elderly woman, partially blind woman who is staying in 1 room, mud, in Telengwe village with her grandchildren. Here in the Western Cape, a destitute family at KTC in Inyanga will also soon have their dignity restored when DCS through offender labor completes their house. They were staying in a shack. These are some of the amongst the progressive interventions that the department continues to implement to empower the victims of crime and also to raise awareness in communities on our rehabilitation and the reintegration programs of the Department of Correctional Services. Honorable members, offender arts and crafts projects that have good market value provide an added opportunity for revenue generation. With regards to the commercialization of offender arts, we are happy to report that all 6 Department of Correctional Services regions now have arts and crafts centers. During the past financial year, 2022-2023, arts and crafts centers were opened at correctional facilities at Groenpad, Hoshimampuru 2, Grahamstown, and Pietermaritzburg. At least 9 more arts and crafts centers are planned to become operational across the country in the current 2023-2024 financial year. Honorable members can see that inmates are not lying and doing nothing in our centers. They are busy at work. If someone can do arts and culture, that person must do agriculture. If they can't do agriculture, they must bake. If they can't bake, they must do some saloon or something. So all the inmates are very busy. In terms of training officials and inmates to run production lines with new machines and to skills inmates with functional skills and increase production capacity, the Johannesburg Textile Workshop resumed operations on 13th December 2022 for the manufacturing of inmates uniforms. 20 female offenders received training in sewing and related skills. The Witbank Workshop is now manufacturing officials' uniform. It is now in full production. DCS Bill program for pharmacies and bakeries has been our flagship program, showcasing in-house infrastructural projects of good quality. We're almost at a stage where all management areas will boast bakeries and pharmacies, as these are important in the life of every correctional facility. They eat bread every day, so they are breaking their own bread across the country. It reduces costs significantly in terms of procuring medicines directly from suppliers and making our own bread instead of buying bread at exorbitant prices. And where we buy bread, we now know the price of bread through which we procure. Honorable members, during the 2022-23 financial year, positive progress was registered in terms of diversification of the facilities infrastructure procurement plan. In the 2023-24 financial year, the Department of Correctional Services allocated a capital budget of 242 million rands to the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. The Independent Development Trust is allocated 166 million rands, 182 million rands, and the Development Bank of Southern Africa. In-house projects carried by DCS are allocated an amount of 90 million rands. Honorable members, the Department of Correctional Services continues to mitigate against overcrowding in its facilities. However, the high rate of crime does constrain efforts by the department in terms of down managing overcrowding and also on our rehabilitation programs. The inmates population continues to increase, with the overcrowding level currently standing at 47%. Our infrastructure build program is likely to meet the demand of incarceration, is unlikely to meet the demand of incarceration. The overcrowding reduction strategy is being implemented by means of involving other partners within the criminal justice system in terms of exploring alternative sentencing, particularly for minor offenses. The Department of Correctional Services continue to address security breaches across its centers and smuggling of contrabands. The Deputy Minister Holomisa and the National Commissioner Tobachale and I continue to lead unannounced searches at our centers where we uncover cell phones, drugs, weapons, amongst others, and other contrabands. Members of the public continue to be arrested as they attempt to smuggle these contrabands, even though they use sophisticated methods to hide this from our officials. We have also roped in the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research to prevent the smuggling of contrabands in our facilities. We will draw from their expertise in terms of preventing cell phone usages in our cells across all our correctional centers. Some of our officials, regrettably, also helped to smuggle the contrabands. On Monday, 2 correctional officials were arrested at Goodwick Correctional Center for allegedly smuggling of contraband.